So welcome to my journey from startup to profitability in 100 days or hopefully fewer. So recently I was sharing the 50-day mark, halfway point, and the revenue, income, expenses, and the small loss that I'd incurred to date. But one of the things that a few people asked me was just around, that excluded a salary for the founder. I'm bootstrapping this. But it got me thinking, and a few people also as well were asking, how does the fact that you've only spent $7,000 and you've got 1.5 employees working with you? So it got me thinking around the cost of hiring someone new and what does that look like inside a traditional small business. So I've come in here to ChatGPT, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a calculation based on, let's say you're the business that's already got traction, looking to scale, and you're looking to hire your first staff, someone that might be able to help you in admin, sales, marketing, any of the kind of traditional support staff that would help a founder to grow and scale. So I threw in the average cost, this is Australian dollars, of $65,000 a year plus benefits for someone that's reasonably junior. And we're assuming that the EBIT, which is the profit margin, is around about 25%. That's pretty standard. Obviously, every company has a number of fixed costs. Often that is sometimes rent if you've got a building, you've got an accountant, you've got all of the other intangible fixed costs that vary from company to company, but software, just paying work cover here in Australia. There's just a number of, and it's quite a long list of payments you have to make before you actually turn a profit. So 25% is quite reasonable, and we can play around with some of these numbers. So ChatGPT is going to work out that calculation for us and to tell you how much revenue you need to be able to increase your business by just to justify that expense. So what it's doing here is it's determining the cost of the new hire, including some of the benefits. Then it's saying to maintain that EBIT of 25%, because again, every business owner only makes a profit, small business, on what's left over after they've paid everybody else. So if you're taking on new staff, you can have extra payroll, and you're looking at $78,000 a year. So what does that look like to maintain your profit margin? It actually works out that you need an extra $104,000 in revenue per year to justify hiring a staff member at $65,000 to maintain that EBIT. So let's play with those numbers. Let's assume that your EBIT is 30%. You're a SaaS, and you've got higher margins, which is great. So it's just all about, how do I scale this faster now? How do I get someone that can really sort of chip in and help me with this? Okay, so it's now working out the calculation. It's come out a slightly different way of doing it. Welcome to the world of ChatGPT, but it's giving you 111,000 to doing that. Let's now do this based on the fact that I hire from overseas, from the Philippines. Let's work out 15,000, and we'll stay with that 25% EBIT. And it's going to redo that calculation, and it's going to come up with a much lower number. Wow, okay. So you only need to increase your revenue by 24,000 to ensure that you're maintaining that EBIT margin of 25%. Let's do it again at 30 and just double check those numbers. Again, it's not going to be a large amount because you're starting with such a small input. So just going away, it's going to calculate all of that. Let's see which formula it does and how it lays it out, because it seems to be different each time. Okay. Now, similar one this time. 25,714. So what was the previous one again? 24. It's barely a difference from margin at 25 to 30%. Let's just throw one more number in there, and let's pretend that you've got a 40% EBIT, which is pretty darn good for a business. There aren't that many that run at a 40% EBIT. Again, it's going to spit out the same calculation. I've got to guess it's probably somewhere around close to 30,000 revenue. Oh, we go, spot on. So 30,000 revenue is all that's required, additional revenue, to have someone at that salary to maintain that EBIT. So this is breaking down kind of legacy thinking. People assume that, and it is, payroll is often one of the biggest expenses of just about any business. So, and there's other obviously fixed costs. Sometimes you've got cost of goods for sale, a number of different variables depending on your business model. But more and more these days, most people are selling information and software and a combination of that. And so therefore you don't need a huge uplift in revenue if you can keep your salary costs down. So this was just an example of one of the reasons why, despite being only 50 days old at the time as I created the previous video, we'd only lost $900 and something, so under $1,000. So this is the inside scoop of how I'm able to do that, because number one, I couldn't have got the traction on my own of creating, you're seeing this post, 5 posts a week about all of the things that I'm doing and all of the tests I'm doing and the results that we're getting so far, all made possible by the staff. But I just want to give you the heads up of what that cost input has on a business versus hiring locally. So I hope you found this useful. Any questions, let me know, and I'll see you in one of the future training videos. Thanks.